Hi, I'm Carrie, and I'm going to be talking to you about my grandfather today. His name was Carl, and I used to call him Pippi. He came from a French-Canadian heritage, so Pippi was something that we had called him, and which means grandfather in French. Whenever I think about my grandfather, I think about him and his strength. He was such a rock for our family. Whenever we were young, I just remember my mom and her sisters talking to us about how my Pippi would work, 2, 3 jobs just to support their family. He was a Mr. Fix-It. He loved to fix things, whether it be people's problems or he would, something would go wrong with your house and he would fix, all kinds of things. He was just always there for the family. One of my most fondest memories was my grandfather we would always get together on 4th of July, and that was always a special time for our family because I could always just remember him standing at the grill, and he was always this griller, and he'd have these tongs in his hand, and that was his way of caring for his family. He would, we would get together for holidays. We used to get together for Christmas, and constantly be talking, he would always be willing to invite his family over and just really love on his family in any way he could. He had the greatest smile, and he had these really deep dimples. Even when he wasn't smiling, he still had these dimples, and I can just remember him, the way he used to eat, and those dimples just being, so deep, and just the way his face would be so full. And we had a pretty devastating blow to our family. We found out that my Pippi he had leukemia. As time went on, that strong man, that I had known as a girl, he wasn't that anymore. It was very difficult for him to eat and to get around and to walk, and it became really hard to watch him, his body just, the cancer to eat at him. And I just remember his face and how, his dimples that he used to have, they just were very sunken, and his face was very frail, and it was very difficult to watch him become, when you looked at him, he didn't even look like himself hardly anymore. So one day, one weekend, we went to go see him, and then the next day, I remember it vividly because I was subbing and at a school, and my mom had called the school, and I had to answer the phone, obviously, and she had told me that he passed away, and so I left the school, and I got to the hospital where he was at, and I just remember him laying there and him being gone. But they had a blanket over him, and I was actually able to touch his hand and it still be warm. I'm thinking that he was there, he was still alive, but his eyes, his eyes were shut, but and as we stood there, it was like we watched his body go colder and colder, and it was, that's the first time that's ever kind of happened to me, and that, and it was the scariest thing And it was knowing that he was gone.